The Micah Parsons era is set to begin on Sunday in Green Bay against the Lions. It's a game that you can see on CBS. Parsons continues to nurse a back injury that plagued him for all of training camp. Here he is on Thursday talking about his status for Week 1 as well as his thoughts on facing Detroit.
I'm still ramping up. It's a process of getting ready for football, being out 6 months, obviously going through the tightness, the soreness. But I just got to put it in faith of, this great training staff and the coaches. They've been slowly getting me into plays and getting me things that I need, if we decide to give me the green light or not. But it's completely up to the coaches, though.
How does it feel, especially with Week 1, this matchup being against the Lions and now being part of the rivalries in the NFC North?
Honestly, bro, I felt like Dallas and Detroit already had a rivalry. I already got that rivalry built up. Bro, I'm excited to play them. I never liked Detroit. I never liked them. Even when I was in Dallas, it's just it was just always a heavyweight fight every time they came in and they kind of got our guys when I was injured last year, or the whole team was injured. And so, I just think it's a funny way how things work. I'm excited to play them. I know they're excited, and it's going to go all 12 to 15 rounds.
Am I the only one that still is trying to piece together Micah Parsons in a Green Bay hat? But nonetheless, we're back joined by Emory Hunt and Bryant McFadden as Parsons appears to be on the trajectory to play against the Lions after participating in his third practice this week. But for what it's worth, fellas, he didn't participate in pads at all during the Cowboys training camp sessions prior to that trade. But B, he said his availability is up to the coaches. How do you see this playing out?
He's going to play. Now, to what capacity? We don't know, but I would assume he would be more of a situational player because of what you stated, Kiana. He's been sitting down the entire training camp process. He hasn't been on the grass when he was with the Cowboys. Now, most recently, he's been out putting on his cleats and moving around, but clearly he's nowhere close to being in football shape, not to mention he's dealing with this back issue also. So I think he will be more of a situational player to kind of get him caught up to speed in terms of the scheme and, of course, football condition. And then as we go, week in and week out, they ramp him up a little more. But right now, against the Detroit Lions, I think he'd be more of a situational defender.
Yeah, it'll be a break in case of emergency type situation for him. We'll see him in critical situations, got to have it third downs, maybe inside the red zone when they need to make a play. Even just listen to that clip, he sounds like he's tired and not in football shape yet. So you don't want to put him out there and give him the full workload right away. I think this is a long play. We'll see him situationally, especially as things start to rev up in this ball game. Then they'll say, hey, Micah Parsons will give us 2 plays here, and then put him right back out.
All right, speaking of revving up, there's news that just came out of the NFL. Christian McCaffrey, a limited participant in practice on Thursday while dealing with a calf issue. Fellas, this is almost reminiscent of last season, just ahead of Week 1. If anyone's a fantasy player, you remember this. He's out of practice while dealing with an injury. Then he goes on to miss those first 8 weeks of the season. But Emory, what's your level of concern when you hear this news? Not just for McCaffrey, but also for the 49ers, who are obviously entering this season a little shorthanded.
Concern highly for McCaffrey first, because as a running back, that's where your explosiveness lies, right there in your calf muscles. Power comes from the backside, explosiveness comes and speed comes from the calves. And if you don't have that ability to burst and really take off, and that's what his game is predicated on, then you're really just not, you're just a guy out there. And we don't want Christian McCaffrey to be just a guy, because then that injury could then move down lower to an Achilles injury. So we don't want that to happen. So when you think about San Francisco in their run game, maybe that's why they went ahead and got Brian Robinson, which will be good for them to start the season because he's a pace setter. And then if he feels comfortable, talk about McCaffrey, you work him in as needed.
Yeah, this is alarming for the 49ers. They're already dealing with an abundance of injuries to key players, not to mention this was something he dealt with a year ago. And the thing that is very, very alarming about hearing this news, he was a full participant yesterday. So he was good enough to participate yesterday, and now he's not. Something might have happened during that practice a day ago that led to him being limited right now. The game is right around the corner, and we know he's been dealing with injuries throughout his outstanding, prolific professional career, but that has been the one negative associated with Christian McCaffrey, especially with all the time he missed last year. So this is alarming, and Keon, I know you're our resident 49er fan that's on the desk right now. It's okay. You can breathe. but take little breaths because we don't know.
I'm gasping. Yeah, I'm taking baby breaths right now because certainly it is scary when you have your top player who is not available. And for what it's worth, just 5 times since 2017 has he played at least in 16 games. So certainly alarming for not just his health, but also the San Francisco 49ers. But meanwhile, Denver Broncos, well, they agreed to a 4-year deal worth up to $120 million with star pass rusher Nik Bonitto. That includes $75 million in guarantees. Bonitto was a Pro Bowler last season, racking up a team-high 13.5 sacks. So, fellas, that is the largest contract for a non-quarterback in Broncos franchise history. Denver already re-signed defensive end Zach Allen to a 4-year, $102 million deal earlier this year. But, Emory, how are you viewing this Broncos defense heading into the season?
Firstly, it's not lost on me that Harlem Nights reference B-Mac just threw out there. I caught that, B-Mac. But for this, I love when ascending players are getting their just due because he was a Pro Bowler and he's a pass rusher. He is a great player. He has great situational awareness to make the play that needs to be made at the right moment. So the Broncos are locking in a star player. If you're watching this show, Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, this is how you do it. And the Broncos are showing you how it gets done with guys that are ascending in the right direction. He's going to be the next star player we have in the NFL.
Contract well deserved for Nik. He had a great year a year ago, not to mention their entire defense was great in sacking opposing quarterbacks. They led the National Football League in sacks around 63. He had 13.5, so he was the catalyst for all this. And it's great being able to pay him right before they face off against the Tennessee Titans. It might not be a fun outing for Cam Ward week 1 against this Broncos defense based on how well they rush the pass.
Might be a nice welcome to the NFL moment for the rookie signal caller. But, fellas, it's another year and more bad injury luck for the Jets. Starting guard and team captain Elijah Vera Tucker was officially diagnosed with a torn tricep. He's going to undergo season-ending surgery. This is the 3rd time in his 5-year career that Vera Tucker has suffered a season-ending injury. But here's more from head coach Aaron Glenn on Thursday.
I got a torn tricep. All right, it's about a 7-month rehab in that situation. So obviously he'll be out. The thing is, when it comes to who's going to be up as far as the O-line, man, I'm still getting that evaluated. All right, so you guys just bear with me with that. I don't want to be issue when it comes to injuries. So I want you guys to know that. All right, so listen, it is what it is. Been through this here. All right, he was a big player for us, man. We got to continue to keep rolling. All right.
So obviously a big loss ahead of the season for the Jets and their new signal caller, Justin Fields. But B, how does New York overcome a loss like this?
This is going to be huge because the issue with Vera Tucker, he was healthy until this week. So the game plan was all involving him, and not to mention what he brings to the table in terms of his skill set. And now you get news that a few days away from game day, he's not playing. Not only will he not play this week, the entire season. So this is a massive blow for an offense that would love to build what Aaron Glenn was a part of offensively in Detroit, a massive, dominant unit in the trenches. Vera Tucker was one of those type of guys, and unfortunately for him, he's been dealing with so many big injuries that have really made him miss a lot of time.
Yeah, and now it causes you to reshuffle your offensive line because the question was all throughout the week, well, who's going to play center, Joe Tippmann or Josh Myers? So now you might have to play both guys right there on the interior.
Get kicked out the game?
He got kicked out the game because he spit on Dak Prescott. And that was breaking news just there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
breaking news here in the HQ.
So when you think about Myers and also Tippmann now playing guard and center, they still have some options. They have, Xavier Newman. They also have Max Mitchell, former lineman of the University of Louisiana, who played guard and tackle. But I think we may see Tippmann and Myers out there on the field for the Jets.
They were already had to make decisions at that center position, now forced to make additional decisions. But, guys, the Chiefs set to face off against the Chargers in Brazil on Friday. But ahead of that matchup, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce met with the local media, and Kelce did his best impersonation of his star quarterback. Take a listen, guys.
Travis, what was last night like at the airport?
Oh man, it was crazy. It was a lot of fun seeing all the fans there, and
he had that one coming for telling everybody I didn't know where Brazil was on the map.
These fellas are going on 9 seasons together. They spend more time together than most. Emory, if I had to have you give us a grade for Travis Kelce's impersonation of Patrick Mahomes, what would you give him?
I give him a B. It was solid, but I need the octaves to be a little bit higher when impersonating Patrick Mahomes. That wasn't Kermit the Frog. That was more, Fozzie Bear more than Kermit the Frog. You know what I mean? So I give him a B.
Emory, come on. That's an A. I don't think Travis has been practicing impersonating his quarterback. I think he just did it dead on the spot. And really, if you're not watching the video, if you close your eyes and you listen, you hear a little resemblance of the voice for Travis Kelce. So I give him an A.
B-Mac, do you have a good Emory Hunt impersonation?
No, I don't. I don't.
I'm sure no one probably wants that. But anyway,
but he can't even do a New Orleans accent. So he definitely don't have an accent. A chance to.
No, I know how to do a New Orleans accent. Folks in New Orleans, they ask you a question and they answer at the same time. Are you going to the store? No. Like, what? Am I going to the store? No. Are you going to the store? Yeah. Like.
And he's laughing because you're right.
He nailed it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna add a little.
They answer at the same time.
I'm gonna add the little razzle dazzle on top because it's got to end with baby. It's got to end with all right, baby.
Let's go to commercial. Y'all killing me up there.
Fellas, as always, thank you so much, baby. Well, the NFL on CBS is officially back this Sunday with several must-see matchups. First, at 1 p.m., Aaron Rodgers returning to MetLife Stadium to face off against the Jets. And at 4:25 p.m. Eastern, Micah Parsons is slated to make his Packers debut against the Lions. You can also stream all of the action over on Paramount+.